Three, two, one.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Buckhouse Podcast. I am Johnathan Buckhouse, one of your hosts. Over there is Benjamin Buckhouse, the other host of the channel. We are two brothers that get together once a week, and we talk all things, anything, honestly. Usually it's motivating. Usually it's social media based, but we can get into video games. We can get into sports. We can get into so much stuff, and we are, I think, hopefully, over the sickness game. We got obliterated by, I don't know if it's just going through Colorado, if it's going through everywhere. There was like a nasty, nasty cold that took us out, and that's all done and over with. So no sick talking. We're just going to talk about sick talking. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. I am very much over that sickness, as in like I barely have a cough, and I barely I sound like sorry. I just woke up, so my throat may sound a little off, but no, I am feeling exponentially better, and I am very, very like we talked about in the past, and we won't talk about the sickness too much, but it's like you don't know how, like, you forget how grateful you are to feel at 100% until you are sick, and then all of a sudden you're like, I feel awful, and the only thing I want to do is just be able to breathe or be able to not cough and stuff like that. So I am grateful to be back at 100% and just ready to be able to have the energy to go to the gym and get all my stuff done. So, and it sounds like you are about there too, right, bro?
Yeah, I got the lingering cough, but like I'm so hyped that it's over right before I go to Italy. Like I leave tomorrow, and so instead of being like, usually I'll have like panic attacks of like, not like panic attacks, but like it's in my head. I'm like, I don't want to get sick before I leave. Like if Bobby's like, also she's like, my throat doesn't feel the best. I'm like, don't kiss me, don't share my drinks. Like for like, I leave in a week. Like get away from me. Like, because you don't want to like fly all the way to Italy with the sickness. Like not because you also don't want to spread it. Also, you don't want to feel like crap out there. You want to go enjoy that.
Yeah, it's leading up to those travel days or leading up to just any big day. I don't blame you for not wanting to get sick. So
I've done the trips. I like, it's my job. You know, I've gone not feeling 100%, and it's hard when you got to go snowboard. Even though I did snowboard through that sickness, other than being annoying, it didn't like wreck me too much. But yeah, I remember flying around to go to trips and things, not feeling great, and then you're on the mountain, you're just like, oh, but you got to get it done. So
what I noticed is, so it's January and it is cold outside. We're experiencing kind of some snowstorms through Colorado.
Finally,
yes, finally, but that affected me because what my doctor suggested is it might have been pneumonia, and so my lungs are weak and things like that. And then when it would be cold outside, like me just walking to my car or whatever it might be, I could physically feel my lungs like struggling to breathe even harder. So it was like the worst timing to get this sickness. But so for you to be snowboarding through it, like I couldn't imagine, because that's like you're in, outside in the cold temperatures, like you're in the environment that you probably should not be in. So but anyways, this is an interesting podcast. This is actually the first time we've ever done this, where we are pre-recording this episode. So by the time that this episode gets released, Jonathan's gonna be back from Italy. So how was your trip from Italy, bro?
so it was a shame. Yeah, no, I leave. We usually record on Mondays, but I leave on Saturday to Italy, and I'll be out there for 9 days. So it's gonna be. I am assuming it's gonna be rad. I cannot pronounce a single word of where I'm going. I wanted to have it pulled up so I could try to read it for you guys. Oh, I can't pull it up. Let me try. Let me give some attempts on the ski resort names that I am venturing off to. Visiti Trentino? Visiti Trentino. Dolomite Superski? Val de Vasa? San Martino de Castro. I have to make videos for these people also. So I better figure out these names.
You're most definitely gonna have to go to the ski resort and ask them like, "Hey, how do you pronounce this?" and like get it down. And I think that will be somewhat important to you, bro. Okay, I'm gonna put emphasis on that now. It's gonna be somewhat important that you are close to the pronunciation.
It's very important. It's very important because unlike where Clue, we just went to resorts and I could like say the name wrong, and I'm like, oh, here we Clue at. So like no, this is the ski resorts that like the ski resort company that owns it. Basically, it's like the Vail resorts of these 5 resorts, whatever, 4 resorts. So I'm there to promote the ski resorts.
Yeah, so it's pretty freaking important that you get these names correct, bro. So I would encourage you to try to study them as best you can.
I'm like a chameleon though. Once I get in the environment, I hear the words flowing. I just adapt.
All right, I'm gonna be honest, bro.
That's not true.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Pronunciations may have never been your strong suit, but pronouncing Italian stuff, that's hard for any American. So I'm gonna wish you luck. I really am.
Thank goodness for captions. I'll just throw captions up.
Yeah, there we go.
Actually, you just gotta lean into it. Like, what? Where am I?
Just be confident about it. No, I'm joking.
This is an Instagram trip, by the way. This isn't like a main YouTube long form trip. This is because my Instagram's been blowing up.
Very nice. So I assume, I mean, obviously, you'll still make long form videos, but sorry, I'm yawning. But legally, or not legally, but contractually, you only have to make kind of Instagram content for them.
I have to make 2 Instagram reels, 2 TikTok reels, and I have to provide them with their own 2 unique Instagram reels. So I gotta make six reels for an all-inclusive trip, and I'm getting paid on top.
That is a steal. That is a steal. Six videos and you're gone for 9 days. That's a great deal.
Yeah, but it's also like, I'm not trying to like gloat or whatever, but when you do these trips, like we're eating 5-star, we're staying at, it's gonna be ski in, ski out. Like it's all like it's top tier. You know, it's not like a boys trip where we're all sleeping in one hotel room and we'll just put a pillow between us, like type situation. Like it's gonna be nice.
I think you said we. Is anyone traveling with you, or is it just yourself?
Oh, it's just me. There's 4 other Instagrammers that are winter content creators. One is an X Games gold medalist skier. Other dude just seems like a cool like mountain snowboarder, and then there's 2 females.
That sounds super awesome, though. To be quite frank, that it's like that sounds like a great trip, and I know you're gonna exceed expectations, but for them to have like minimal expectations of just 6 videos, like you're gonna blow it out of the water. And even if you do just make 6 videos, you have the potential to make 6 really good videos, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I know me, I'm probably gonna make 600 videos. I'm gonna be trying to get the raddest of the rad clips and things. So
maybe that was their strategy the whole time. They're just like, hey, you only have to make 6 videos. Ha ha ha. Like they know that you're gonna post this for the next, 2 years, 3 years.
I'm not like nervous, but this is the first time that I have a connection flight in another country without like going with someone. So, or just even traveling like fully by myself in Europe. Because the first time Ski Doc went with me when I went to Germany. And so he's traveled the world and stuff like that. So he like knew where to go, customs, all type, like things like that. And then when I went to Ruka, Finland, I was with the whole Cardo team from Colorado because a lot of them were in Aspen. And so it's what am I trying to say? It was kind of like follow and learn and stuff. And so this is me putting it to the test. Like, can I actually like not wander in the wrong spot and get in trouble? It's okay. the other thing is like that Ruka Finland trip, because we went to London and then to Finland, and then in Finland we had another connection. So I got pretty used to traveling or like jumping around. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be fine, but I get nervous, man.
I don't feel like I struggle in situations and like in like a new environment, such as like traveling to a new airport or this that. Like it doesn't intimidate me. People are always like, oh, this airport's so scary or this airport's so crazy. It's like you're gonna like it's so confusing. If you just read, I think you can figure it out. And I know that that's a lot different when you're going to a whole new country, a whole new continent that speaks a whole different language. So, I'm sure that the reading aspect is a little bit more difficult, but they are well aware that Americans are traveling to their country, but also English is like, I believe, the second most spoken language in the world, only second to Spanish. So it's like, once again, there's going to be a lot of English signs. There's going to be a lot of people that speak English. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to help you because they're very aware that Americans travel. They travel to their countries and stuff like that. So you're I don't think it's going to be that difficult, and seems like you've already gone through the trial run. So you probably got you got this, bro. But
yeah, I'm not too worried. The hardest part is knowing when someone's talking to you. I remember in Austria, my first time, this lady asked me a question. No idea she was talking to me. I just thought she, like, and then she got angry at me, and then the clue team member had to step in and be like, "Oh, American, he's American. You didn't know if like you were speaking to him." Like, so there's that, and then, I think it's a little different too when like you have your own plans and you're like, all right, I flew to London and I'm going here, and then you're making your own plans. Where like with this one, I'm getting picked up at the airport, so I gotta get out, get off, get my bag, and there's that person standing with the sign that says like Buckhouse, and I gotta find that person.
Dang, you're bougie this trip.
Hopefully that's smooth. I've been picked up with a sign a couple times in my life, and it's
free prostitution.
It's funny. I don't know. It's just like. No, I'm beyond grateful for this, and the nice thing too is like this is like an experience. Like it's really cool to do these like rad snowboard trips and to be like a sponsored athlete, but like I'm not going because I have to go throw like 4 backflips and like compete in a competition and the weather might be bad. Like I'm literally just going to experience ski resorts, which is like one of my favorite things to do is go somewhere new, but 2, like, what a blessing. Like, I just gotta be like, look at this cool rock. I love rocks. I'm like, that's the content.
This just in, Johnathan gets to talk about rocks and get paid to do so.
It's not a boulder. It's a rock.
I'm sure that does take the tension off. And I know that that's something that we've talked about in the past when it comes to like the Olympics and stuff. Because I think it was one of the first years that Shaun White didn't win gold for the half pipes. I think it was the Winter Olympics Russia. And the conditions were awful. They were awful, awful, awful. And just by the time that it was his turn to drop in, the bowl was just beat up and worse. And it was just like, that's terrible. That's something I don't like. It's something that you don't really see in a lot of sports where it's like the conditions really matter. Let's say a very comparable thing of skateboarding. Yes, technically conditions could matter, but most skate competitions happen indoors and they're on the same exact setup. Like it's not like, oh, the snow is melting. It's like, no, this is just, it's wood, it's plywood and, metal. And that's what you're skateboarding on. It doesn't change. So that's such an unfortunate thing for snowboarding. So I'm happy that you aren't going and like competing or you have to meet this expectation. It's more so like, yeah, go check out our resort. Because no matter what the conditions are, you can go check out the resort.
I love you to death, bro, but it's a half pipe, not a bowl.
I was just talking. I don't know what I was saying.
No, I know. It was just funny. Like when you're like the conditions in the bowl, I was like, oh,
what? Know that I know what I'm talking about, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it was just for anyone listening. Ben, it's 4 in the morning, and it's cool because like it takes pressure off the park. I'm gonna go in the park. I'm a park snowboarder. I love it, but I have this thing when I travel, and this might sound soft to some people, but like I keep my jumps minimal when I travel, unless I'm going to be there for a long time. But I'm going to 4 different resorts in 4 different days. they're all next to each other, so I'll have like a central hub. But like when you like if you're gonna go hit anything over 45 feet, like you kind of want to like session it and like really dial in the speed and get really comfortable on it before you start throwing like rotations and flips and things like that. And so when I show up and I got 13 runs in the day, like yeah, I'll go through hit some like 35, 40-foot jumps. I'll spin some rotations, but I'm not like showing up and be like, what's the most extreme feature you got? It's just chill, it's mellow, it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's cool and people are able to do that, but yeah, when you got expectations to travel to multiple resorts to film this stuff, but also you got a family, you know, you're also in a different country alone. Like, don't risk it. You know, if you are an X Games athlete and you're paid to be there, and like injuries are inevitable for you guys, and you've got your team with you, like sure, like go huck something, but no, play it safe, bro. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's January. You know, like my season legitimately goes till June before it slows down. So it's a risk reward type situation. You know, I like to minimize my risks earlier in the year and then ramp it up toward like later in the year especially when it's like warmer and softer and the snow gets squishier, slushy, things like that. So I've done this for a long time. This is my 9th season making content for snowboarding. It's like I still like go and push myself. I still try to learn some things. I learned a new trick the other day, but I'm not like I know what I'm doing. So
well, I want to take this opportunity to ask you about something.
Nice sponsor.
Well, yeah, not yet. No sponsors yet. But no, I want to take this opportunity to bring up something that I think the dust has kind of settled. So this may be an outdated conversation, but Johnathan and I have not talked about it yet. So I wanted to bring it up. Have you heard about the strikes happening for Vail resorts, particularly in Utah at Park City?
Yes. Yes. You want my opinion on it?
Yes, I would love to hear your opinion on this.
It's really hard when you have a $1 billion corporation and then you have employees, because the employees here are like, oh, it's a $1 billion corporation. Like, you should definitely be able to give us like a $2 raise. And the issue that's happening is in Utah specifically is the Red Jackets, the ski patrollers, they unionized 2 years ago or something like that. And when they unionized, they got a 50% raise. And that raise brought them to like $22 an hour or something like that, $23 an hour. And they want an additional $2 raise. But a company like Vail Resorts, because it's so corporate, they don't look at raises as in like, oh, here's $1 there, $1 there. They look at percentages. They're like, why would we give you another X amount of percent raise when we just gave you a 50% raise? Like, our corporate math is not mathing. Like, we're not giving you that raise. Even though, and the hardest part, and of course, like I'm on the employee side, like they need to, like the ski resort employees, especially the ones that are super important, the ones that handle the injuries, the avalanche conditions, the ones that like are doing, like truly on a ski resort, ski patrol does like 80% of the work, and everyone else is like a replaceable like robot position. As horrible as it sounds, it is true, and I'm sorry for any lifties out there or ticket scanners and food and beverage employees at ski resorts. We still appreciate you, but you know, like to be the person that runs the avalanche, like I couldn't run the avalanche department or like, you know, like, and I know a lot about backcountry and avalanches and stuff, but I don't know how or where or what to side cut and throw dynamite and things like that. Anyways, so they want this raise because they can't afford rent. And so it's like, yeah, like we're the most important employees you have, but we can't afford to live next to your ski resort. Like, if you gave me $2 more an hour, I should be able to afford rent a little more comfortable and actually live a comfortable life. So it's not just the ski industry alone. It's a lot of places where housing is quickly outgrowing the wages, you know, housing costs, rental costs, everything is skyrocketing and people aren't getting raises. It's a really tough time right now. And so what happened is the ski patrollers are like, oh yeah, you don't want to pay us. well, we're going to strike because they're unionized, and the people that run the unions are smart, and it's like they know how to like hurt the company the right way to like get the company to break. So they had all the ski patrollers strike during Christmas break, which is like the busiest time of the year, Christmas and New Year's. And so like Park City could only open up like the bunny hills and like the very lower terrain because they had no avalanche safety. They had to like fly in ski patrollers from other ski resorts that aren't unionized, they're just employees. And that's the crazy thing too with the way unions work with companies and things like that. Like the employees can vote to become a part of a union, but like there's certain ski resorts where like the ski patrollers are not unionized, and so they can be asked to go work somewhere else. So they like flew in a bunch of their employees, which I'm like, when it's all said and done, between you had people that cancel their trips or had horrible experiences and they're not coming back, and the cost of flying and probably paying other employees extra to go work in Park City, you probably spent the amount it would have cost to just give them the raise.
Like that last part's probably so true. The investment, but also the lost profits that they made is probably just, it outweighs that $2 raise. And it's funny that happened, but no, it's sad to hear because, like you're saying, it's these people are a very important part to the mountain. Not to bash on ski or lifties or people working at the cafeterias and everything. You guys are a part of the machine as well. That machine can't function without you guys either. But like what Johnathan was just saying, the ski patrol essentially was like, we're not working, and the mountain essentially was just closed, like almost the entire mountain. And mind you, Park City is the largest resort in North America, I believe, right, bro? Is that part correct?
Kind of, because they added, like, they combined, you've been there, they combined canyons and Park City. So they took two ski resorts, put a gondola between them. So it's technically two different resorts, but technically the skiable acres is massive because of the gondola.
Regardless, it's a massive, there's a lot of terrain that you can go to, and to have ski patrol be like, well, we're not going to go monitor the terrain, basically shut down the mountain. And I'm so sorry for everyone that took a trip out there during that time. I'm sorry that you guys were essentially collateral in this experience. But it's really unfortunate that a company like Vail is not able to, or not willing to, pay their employees enough to just live, especially the people that are so important to your business that you can't even operate without them. Like this is what your operating is based off of. Like Johnathan's saying, not even just avalanche control, but just conditions. The every day ski patrol goes through certain runs in certain areas to make sure that it's rideable, to make sure that the conditions are safe, to make sure that nothing changed overnight and things like that. So it's crazy that a important team as ski patrol was so adamant about, like, we need more money, we're striking. And yeah, it's unfortunate for all parties, to be honest. And I hope that a solution does actually come out. Like I said, I think the dust kind of settled, but at the same time, all the terrible fires in California are happening. So I don't know if I just haven't heard any updates on it, because that's kind of been the topic of the news. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well, think about this too. So like, if you're a lifty or ticket scanner, some other, like an instructor, some other job on the ski resort, you're probably there for a season, 2-3 seasons. So you're just going to go stay in employee housing. But truly, like, ski patrolling, like the Breckenridge ski patrollers that handle all the high alpine, like avalanche, whatever, that's a career. Those dudes are in it for 10 plus years, like super veterans, things like that. They need a better housing situation than employee housing. So yes, it's amazing that the ski resort has these, they're a little apartment complexes, but a lot of times, like Keystone's employee housing, sorry, the people are like sharing a bedroom, things like that. Like, at the end of the day, like, you need your ski patrollers to be in like legitimate houses and things like that. So you got to pay them legitimate money so they can get a legitimate situation, so they can be a lifelong employee for your resort. Those are the people you need and want as lifetime employees, especially at, like, once again, mega resorts like Utah, Park City, where it has some avalanche terrain. Definitely Breckenridge and Keystone and all these other places have like legitimate avalanche terrain, stuff like that. So yeah, they got to figure it out.
Yeah, while you were talking about it, I was thinking if the opportunity, if you were ski patrol for like Keystone or whatever, and they sent you out to Park City, if I was in that situation, I 100% would have taken up that offer, to be honest, to go, work in a different state and different ski resort and experience that. Oh yeah, that'd be so sick. So
get put up in the ski and ski out condos and things.
Yeah, like you're saying, dude, the investment that they made on sending these employees out, because like you said, yeah, they're probably staying in really nice hotels just because Vail owns them. They're just like, just go stay in this rinky dinky hotel, and it's a ski and ski out with the hot tub that overlooks the entire resort or something.
You ready for the full picture though, and why they don't care about giving these $2 raises, and even though it all fell apart, why they really don't care? You want to know why?
Because people are gonna quit and they'll just hire new people.
No, because Vail Resorts isn't a ski resort company anymore. It's a real estate company.
That is true. They do care more about like that.
They care more about their rental, like getting their rentals booked in. Like what happens is Vail buys a ski resort and then it buys everything around it. So Vail no longer makes their majority of their money from the resort. The resort's the ski resort, that's what brings people in. But where they make their money is you fly in to Denver and you get on Vail Resorts bus system that takes you to Vail Resorts. Like legitimately, it stops at a coffee shop there's a Starbucks on the way up from Denver that Vail owns, and a rental shop. So one of the stops that it does is to that Starbucks that they own. So people can like go to the bathroom, get a coffee, even pick up their rental there, and then it continues. And then if you don't go get a rental there, they have their other rentals. So like you fly in, take their bus, get their coffee, stay at their property, eat at their restaurants, go ride their ski resort. And when it's all said and done, they got 100% of let's say you spent $15,000 on this trip. They got all of that money.
It's crazy, actually, just how lucrative a lot of that is. Like rentals, I wanna know, as I'm literally like hyping it up, but it's like I want to know so I can't remember the exact numbers, but when I was renting cars, there was like an expected amount of revenue that a car would make, right? So they would buy a $40,000 vehicle, but they were going to make $250,000 on this vehicle from renting it. So I wonder what that number looks like when it comes to like a snowboard or skis or just rental gear in general. I know it's not going to be that $250,000 range, but you're also not spending $40,000 on one snowboard. So I wonder what those profit margins look like and like what their expected revenue.
Someone could definitely run the math, because it's like $40 to rent. That's going to be like your boots, bindings, board. And then, times, let's say you rent it 15 times in the season. So I'm not going to run the math, but it could be ran.
Yeah, I'm sure it could be ran and all that. But yeah, I'm just.
We're asking you guys in the comments.
Somebody run the numbers.
Let's see.
How much should a rentable snowboard make? But regardless, like
someone might just know the answer.
The profit margins that these people can make off this stuff, right? Renting stuff is one of the most profitable industries because, like I said, you buy one thing and you just then rent it out and just keep making money off of it. It's kind of like property, kind of like renting out an apartment. It's a very profitable thing. So I'm not an eat the rich person. I'm not a we shouldn't have billionaires and trillionaires. Like I'm not that person at all. I'm all for that. But at the same time, it's so tough seeing like corporate greed where, like you're saying, they don't care about necessarily skiing. They just care about the experience. They care about getting every dollar out of you. And they don't really care if you have a good time skiing or not, Well,
what I've experienced, because I've been up here for 16 years, and I literally at the start of the corporate monster to where it is now. And what has happened over the years is Vail Resorts has hired a lot of corporate people that can run a corporate company that can ski. They're not skiers, they're not snowboarders, they just know how to ski, but they are truly like a corporate operating person. So they show up this ski resort, they only care about riding blues or blacks, so they like destroy the terrain park, they don't let you do these runs, they put in yellow jackets that pull passes, like all this type of stuff. So when it's all said and done, the skiing experience over the last 16 years has been declining. It's not improving. Like skiing and riding on the mountain is getting worse and worse and worse every single year, from terrain closures to the lack of funding the terrain park, or just not letting the park builders, the kids that show up that want to build really cool features, not letting them actually do it. Like the overall skiing and snowboarding experience on Vail owned mountains is decreasing. And I know this for a fact because when you go to an Icon ski resort, because those are still individually owned mountains, they're just like kind of partnered together. Now Icon owns some of those. I know that, but but at a lot of these Icon owned ski resorts, the experience is improving and getting better, and it's so different. And yeah, so that happens when you hire people that can ski and can snowboard to run a ski resort when they used to be ran by skiers and snowboarders. You got to make decisions that are going to be loss leaders, but increase the overall experience. Like having Dew Tour at Breckenridge. Like Breckenridge let Dew Tour go, but like that was a true yearly improvement experience that just happened at Breck. And then it like trickled throughout the whole year because Dew Tour pays X amount of money. They pay to build the park. They pay all this stuff. And like, even though Dew Tour is now over, all the investment that Dew Tour put into Breckenridge trickled through the season because all of a sudden they made a ton of snow. So now the parks are better. You know, they did some type of like event downtown, and now downtown has all these cool like things remaining from the Dew Tour, and then the tourists can go look at those still, things like that. And the corporate people like just let it walk, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, the game has changed when it comes to you know, what we kind of grew up snowboarding in versus what it is now. So I'm happy that you're still able to get joy out of it, bro. And it seems like you really have shifted towards going to different resorts rather than Vail resorts. Because I remember growing up, and even when we first started the season, it was like Keystone, Keystone, Keystone. You know, maybe Breckenridge. Keystone, Keystone, Keystone. Maybe Breckenridge. Like, you know, we just stuck with those. So it's unfortunate.
I still love Keystone.
Yeah, Keystone's fun.
No, I mean it's the channel. It's like the goal to ride every single ski resort in the United States, which I'm still doing. A lot of people get mad at me right now because I haven't been going to a lot of new ski resorts in the United States. But it's like a 2-part thing. It's hard to travel with the kiddos, being so little, and it's a lot on Bobby, and she's not a big fan of it. And then we also live 30 minutes from Roman school in the woods, things like that. So when I do travel, it is a lot more pressure on Bobby. It's not just watching the kids. It's waking up early, taking Roman to school. She's doing a ton of driving that I normally do when I'm gone, which she's totally capable of doing. But the risk, I mean, we live in the mountains, so like the risk of sliding off the road, someone sliding into her, or it snows 6 inches and now she's driving in a snowstorm, all those risks that normally I'm taking and experiencing, or I'm there to assist if something goes wrong. Well, now I'm in Italy and she's experiencing all this by herself, and it's not her main choice to be here. You know, she sacrificed a lot for to live where I can work and things like that. So I try to keep the traveling minimal in a way. You know, if I go on a week trip, I'm not going on another week trip for another 2 weeks, you know, and so that kind of really puts me in a box of where I can go and how I can travel. And then I get all these rad opportunities to like, hey, you're going to Italy. So I go to Italy, I come back, I'm home for a week, and I go to Canada for 3 days, and then I come back for 4 days, and then I fly to Germany for another week. It's like what my next 4 weeks look like. Awesome. And I'm really excited to experience all of that. And so like when a kid's like, when are you gonna come to Powder Ridge in Minnesota? I'm like, after Italy. Like, So I'll get to back to riding resorts in the United States. I just got to take these overseas opportunities while they present themselves.
I don't blame you, bro. Those are some pretty sick opportunities. But what was I gonna say? No, it's a lot of people. I know that they're mostly kids that are like kind of quote unquote getting mad. Let's be honest, they're not. Some are not like necessarily getting mad, but they're just like, oh, that sucks or whatever. But it's like they're not seeing. But it's like they're not seeing the bigger picture, kind of like what you're saying. It's like, hey, like I do have a family, I do have a life, but also I'm completely alone on this. I'm not. I don't have a crew with me. I don't have a filmer. But then also, I'm have these opportunities, and not only are they opportunities for you to go experience, they're also opportunities for you to make money, which this is a business. And this is, that's something we talk a lot about on this podcast, is that you have to pay the bills. And, sadly, that's been fluctuating the last couple of years. And so for you to get this opportunity to go to Europe, you have to take that. Not just because, look, I get to go to Italy, but also like this is money to be made. And I have to do that for both the channel to be successful, but also for my family. So, going to,
and I'm trying to expand the business worldwide.
Yeah, gotta go worldwide. But I was just gonna say one last thing is like going to Italy to make this money, or going to some small resort in Minnesota. Like the risk reward or the profits, you just have to weigh that. You're gonna make more money making that trip to Italy, and sadly you have to make that decision. So
I also have to pay to go to the little Minnesota resort, where when I'm getting offered to go to these really big rad opportunities in other countries, I'm getting paid to go, like you said. On the note though of Bobby not really enjoying living in the mountains, things like that, I took her out on the snowmobile yesterday, and we had an incredible time. It was the first time we finally got people up here. Like Cody's got a girlfriend, and Michael's now got a wife. We have people that can help babysit. So we were able to get a babysitter, and I finally was able to take Bobby out on my snowmobile. And we went to Vail Pass, and it's like a 12-mile ride. There's a town called Red Cliff that you can drive there. It's like between Vail and Beaver Creek, but it's like super tucked back in the mountains. But if you get off in Vail Pass and get on your snowmobile, you can get to Red Cliff super quick in about like 30 minutes on a snowmobile. And they have like a restaurant there that opens up pretty early for snowmobilers and stuff. And we went and had a little like snowmobiled out to this restaurant and had a date.
Bobby sent me like a Snapchat about that. So yeah, I was meaning to actually ask particularly her about that. What does she think of it and everything? But we can talk about it right here. Like, Bobby is not a snow sport person. So what was her experience? Did she have fun?
She had a blast. It helps out a ton that I have some of the world's best gear, thanks to reviews and things like that. So I hooked her up with like heated socks, heated gloves. She's got really nice Vertica outerwear that like just gear she would never have had, like if that makes sense. So I decked her out, and she had a ton of fun. It's so funny, like her level of fun versus mine, because she just kind of sat there and just rode and was like enjoyed being out in the elements and things like that. Where like if I was just sitting there like, all right, dude, like, I wouldn't have as much fun. I want to like do things and drive this sled like crazy and things like that. But we were just kind of trail sledding at that point, where normally I try and drive the sled and powder and stuff. But I had a ton of fun in the sense that like I got to take my girl out and do she got to go like experience like what I do. And it's funny too, because she knows I am quote unquote an expert at like the things I do, but she doesn't know like to know it and then to see it are two different things. So not only did she go experience like going out on the sled with me and all that type of stuff, but on our way back, these tourists on trail sleds, one of them tried to drive his trail sled into the powder, which is just not going to work. So they got themselves like super stuck. And in the backcountry, it's one of those things where like you help other people because you don't know whenever you're going to need help. Like you don't just like drive past someone in the backcountry who's got their sled stuck. Like that's not okay. So I pulled over and I helped get they had no idea how to get their sled out. And like they were only getting it more stuck. They were going to probably be there for hours trying to dig this thing out. And I showed up and I was like, I quickly got it out in like 3 minutes. for them. And Bobby was just like, oh, dang. Like, you think you really do know what you're doing. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to, like, I got that moment where you get to, like, show off to your girl.
That is a fun moment. It made me think of like what's something that I've done with that, like with Kirsty, and it makes me think of when I went to Florida for my Halo tournament. Talk about video games now, guys, but it's like, yeah, she, like Kirsty gets to see me or like hear about me. You know, I'll update her when I was playing in the tournaments, like, oh yeah, you know, we placed this or we beat this team or whatever, and like all that. But she got to go and like see me play, but then from there, like see me beat teams. You know, like there's like this kind of unspoken rule where it's four computers facing each other, four Xboxes facing each other, one team's on each side, and the winning team gets up and they go to the losing team and they say, like, you know, fist bump them or whatever and say like good game or whatever, right? They get a camaraderie thing, like the winning team gets up and goes and do that. So to like do that, you know, if it felt cool and like to be like to for my girl, like you're saying, my girl would be there and see me in my element, like, you know, beating people and like getting up and going and do that, and like, so yeah, it's like a proud moment. So for you to like be able to show up and be like, hey, look at what I can do, and like do that stuff, it's cool. It's cool. I get that.
Yeah, so it was a rad experience, and like then her head's like, oh, we should get like another trail sled, and like we can bring the kids out and things like that, and like she starts to like somewhat dreaming, or like she truly enjoyed it. And yesterday it was freezing. It was like 0 degrees, and then you're driving a snowmobile like 40 miles per hour, so like the wind chill, it was brutal, but she was comfortable and enjoyed it. And so like on the nicer days when it's sunnier and warmer and things like that, we definitely can have, yeah, it's rad. So I'm excited for more stuff like that as the kids get older. We're kind of like almost through it. Bristol's 3. You know, it's once the infant young stage is so fun, but the one thing you do lose for like a short amount of time is the ability to do things. Like we haven't hiked in years. Not because we don't like hiking, but because it's really hard to hike with small children.
Well, bro, I'm just waiting for you to take me on our romantic, snow sled day. You know, I'm just waiting for that day. So
We'll ride Canadian style, though.
I don't know what that means. Moving on. No,
I know you
I
don't.
assume it's like where we're both on the sleds.
Side by side.
Oh, side by. Okay, we'll stand next to each other.
Canadian side by side. Not riding female dog, which is the other way of doing it.
Indeed. No, I remember hearing stories about how we went sledding when I was like 4 or 5, back up in the Dakotas or in Wisconsin. Do you remember that trip at all?
Was it Wisconsin? I thought it was in Winter Park where we went snowmobiling.
I see. Like I said, I only remember. I've only heard stories about this, but I thought that this happened during Uncle Evan's funeral. So I thought we were up in Wisconsin, but it might have been
No, that was in the summertime.
Okay.
No, we did a one time we did a family Christmas in Winter Park.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it. So,
and that's probably like when you were about 4.
Good thing I missed that one. No.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely snowmobiled without you.
There was a picture of me, but didn't happen. No, I'm joking. That's one thing. Going back to like, talk about like small kids is like finding that opportunity of like, when do you take your kid to experience something? So, I love going to Disney. I love going to Disney. It's one of the happiest places on earth. It's one of my happiest places on earth. But it's like, I've thought about it. It's like, if I were to have a kid, I would not take anyone under the age of like 10 to Disney for multiple reasons. Number one, it'll be miserable, but also, why spend all that money and they're not going to remember it? You know, once again, going back to trips I forgot, we took a trip to Disney when I was 2. I don't remember that at all. Like, why spend that money on me, you know?
Well, the reason why you don't remember it in a lot of ways is because it wasn't documented. So like, I really want to take Roman and Bristol to Disneyland or World this summer, primarily because Bristol is a princess right now. Every day is dresses, crowns, like she is living the princess life. And Roman's 7, he definitely has like, 1 will remember everything, but 2, he still has the magic in him. Like, things are still magical, feel really cool. So it's like the perfect time to take them to Disney now that like Sissy's a little older. But I will also bring my cameras. I'm not saying I might make a YouTube video, I might not, but either way, I'm going to make a video that they will forever be able to go and watch. Roman's memory is insane. Like, he'll bring up trips or things that I'm like, how do you remember? You were 3, dude. But I documented it. I made the videos. He's like, watched the videos a couple times, you know, and gets refreshed. And I think one reason, you know, the human brain's memory is terrible. I hear you can only save like photos of the memory and then the brain fills in the blanks. But if you have a legitimate video to watch and remember, I'm sure that does something crazy for your memory.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because like I filmed Kirsty and I's wedding, you know, experience and everything, and that's just different watching. You know, it's different to experience that and really remember, like really see what was happening. So no, you're 100% right, bro. But you know, to go back to kind of my point was, it's like I do disagree to the point where I was 2 at Disney. So even if we had 4K, you know, ultra red video cameras filming, I was 2. There's no way I'm remembering that. I can experience it, but I, you know, not going to remember it. That's, you know, like there's kind of like a barrier there. Bristol's probably at the age where she would remember it.
In Mom's defense, she brought 4 other kids that all could experience it.
I'm not faulting Mom. I'm not faulting Mom at all. I'm more so saying I wouldn't want to do that.
And you were free because you were 2. And at the end of the day, you keep getting the short end of the stick on these trips, because I remember all of it.
Being the youngest of 5, love it. No, but sadly, we do have to start wrapping up the podcast, just due to technicality issues. We got to get going here, but
we could blame Roman for that one.
We can blame Roman for that one. All right, sounds good. No,
he woke up like 6 times last night.
Poor dude.
Well, he got a lizard for Christmas, and the lizard eats crickets. And we haven't had this issue yet, but I got a batch of crickets that were very loud. And so he's got crickets in his lizard cage. Like, we've been keeping, I took him out for this podcast, but we've been keeping the crickets in my office because they get a little cricket jar because they're loud. And then, but there's like 3 in his lizard's cage right now, and they're in there creaking. And so he wakes up, he's like, crickets and all this stuff. And then he's trying to cut his toenails in the middle. I'm like, dude, I need to sleep.
Just try to cut your toenails in the middle of the night. First thing Roman thinks of.
Try to cut his toenails in the middle of the night. I'm like, dude, what do you do?
All right. Well, no, we do have to start wrapping up the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was just, this one was very much just like us just talking, catching up, having fun. This was a fun podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. Thank you guys for being you. Thank you guys for just, thank you. Really appreciate you guys. Got anything else
that you thank them for being them. Thank you for being you.
Honestly, I think that gratitude is something that's underrated in this world, and I think that we need to be more grateful for things. And I think that
I want to thank us for being us.
No, seriously, bro, Johnathan, thank you for being
subscribe.
Johnathan. Thank you for being Johnathan. Thank me for being me, because if I wasn't me and if Johnathan wasn't him, who would we be? And would you guys even be listening to us right now? Who knows? And if thank you guys for being you, because if you weren't you, would you be listening to us? Who knows?
I have no idea what's happening,
just
guys.
2 bros coughing on this podcast. No, thank you guys so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week with another episode. Peace.